Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everyone is well, inshallah. This has been my most requested video. People always ask me about my journey to Islam and how I became a Muslim. So my name is Hayley. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Ireland. I grew up as a Catholic, but my family or myself weren't very religious. I used to go to Mass once a year, maybe for Christmas time. I always had a belief in God, but I was confused in who God was. I always questioned my faith and my belief. As a child, I had a very hard childhood. I never done good in school. I was always in trouble. I was always classed as the difficult child. My mum was always getting called up to the school about me. She was a single parent and she raised me by herself. When I was around 9 or 10, I was diagnosed with ADHD, which made it very hard for me. When I became into my teenage years, my life got more harder as my mental health got worse. I suffered really bad with depression. I was always looking for the next best thing. I always felt empty inside, and I tried everything I could to fill that emptiness. I got in with the wrong crowd as I wanted to have friends. I wanted people to like me, and I wanted people to notice me. I started drinking, clubbing, etc., as I thought that would make me feel better. I tried to unalive myself so many times as I felt so alone and saw no way out. I had no confidence and just hated myself all the time. The friends that I had always made fun of me, always insulted me and judged me and made a joke of me because they knew I was vulnerable. And I took it off them because I didn't want to be alone. So fast forward to when I was 21 years old, I travelled to Turkey for my birthday, who I then met my now husband. He was a born Muslim, but he also wasn't practicing. We married and I had my first baby boy pretty quickly. My family never accepted my husband or my marriage. They was always trying to find ways to split us up. When my son was born, my husband started to practice his religion, as he wanted to show our son stability and have a purpose in life. He also didn't want our son to go down the wrong road as us. The more deeper into his faith my husband was getting, the more changes he was starting to see. He always tried to tell me about Islam, but I always had the idea of women being oppressed and being controlled, and that Islam was a horrible, dangerous religion. As the years passed, my husband fully practiced his religion. He prayed 5 times a day, done Ramadan, went to the mosque, etc. But we always constantly argued about religion. At this time, I had my other 2 children, and my mental health was at the worst it has ever been. One day I remember myself and my husband had such a huge fight, I couldn't take it anymore. And I again tried to unalive myself. But before I could do anything, I stopped and thought about my kids and how selfish I was to leave them behind. At this point, I was also diagnosed with BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. I was attending psychologists regularly and I was taking mental health medication, etc. Something had to change. I couldn't keep putting my family through hell on earth, and I couldn't keep feeling the way I was feeling. So when I went home, I spoke to my husband, and he managed to get me a copy of the Quran and told me to read it. When I opened the first page, which was Surah Al-Fatiha, everything in my life made sense. I didn't feel lost anymore. All the questions I had were finally being answered. I felt a weight being lifted off my shoulders. I felt a sense of relief. A few days later, me and my family were walking into Dilts in our local town, and we saw a brother outside giving dawah. He called me over and we started talking. I told him I just started to read the Quran, and within that moment I saw myself saying my Shahada. I've never looked back since. Islam and Allah have saved my life. I probably wouldn't be here today if Allah didn't guide me. I'm finally free of all my negativity, of all my demons, of all my pain, and all my suffering. Thank you everybody for watching my video, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Friday and has an amazing weekend. Sending you all lots of love, lots of blessings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.